Hi, children. It's Grandma Carla, and we are reading about Samoset. And we're reading more of our stories with the Pilgrims. And right now, I'm in a hotel room, and my lighting is kind of bad. So I'm sorry this tape is not going to be the best, but we're still going to read some of our Pilgrim stories because it's so close to Thanksgiving. Samoset. At last, spring came, bringing health and hope to the Pilgrims. Again, the axes rang out in the forest, and the half-built cottages were soon finished. The snow melted from the sunny hillsides, and the ice in the streams broke away and floated into the sea. One morning, the men of Plymouth met in the common house to make plans for their little army. On the top of the hill, we will build a large, strong fort and mount our cannons upon it so that they will point in every direction, said Captain Miles Standish. If the Indians make trouble, we will bring the women and the children to the fort for safety. As he spoke, there was a frightened scream from the children at play outside. The next moment, a tall, half-naked Indian stood in the door before them. 3 eagle feathers were braided into his long black hair. Lines of red and black were painted upon his face. In his hand he carried a long bow, and a quiver of arrows hung between his bare shoulders. The Pilgrims sprang to their feet, seizing their guns and their swords. Perhaps he was only one of many who were already in the village. The Indian did not move from his place, though he laid his hand upon a little hatchet at his belt. How sharply his bright eyes glanced from one to another of the men. "Welcome, Englishmen," said he. "What? Do these people speak English?" asked William Bradford. "Look to your guns, men," said Captain Miles Standish in a low voice. "He may not be so friendly as he seems." Perhaps the Indian understood the captain's words, for he said quickly, "Samoset, friend of Englishmen. He come to say welcome." Elder Brewster stepped forward and gave his hand to the strange visitor. "Thank you for your kind words, friend. Where did you learn our language?" "Samoset is chief in little land in the sea. Many English come there to fish and buy furs. Samoset, much good to Englishmen." "How far away is your island?" asked the elder. "Come big wind in ship one day, or canoe to shore, then walk 5 days," answered the chief. "And which way do you come?" Samoset come in ship 8 moons ago. English friend give Samoset and other chiefs long ride in his ship." Then the Pilgrims asked the Indian to sit down in the common house with them. They brought him food and drink, and as he ate, they asked him many questions. "Are your Indian friends near here?" asked Captain Standish. "Many Indians in forest," answered Samoset. "They bring many furs to trade with white men. Indians great hunters. White men not know how to make good traps like Indian." The Pilgrims looked at William Bradford and smiled. He, too, was thinking of the Indian deer trap in which he had been caught one day. "Samoset have Indian friend named Squanto. Him speak good English," said Samoset as he took another leg of roast duck. "Why did not Squanto come with you?" asked Elder Brewster. "Squanto wise like fox. Him put his paw in trap one time. Him much afraid of white man now." "Did the white men not treat him well?" asked Bradford. Then Samoset laid down his bone and told them Squanto's story. He said, "Sailor man tells Squanto to come have little ride in his white-winged canoe. Then he takes Squanto and 20 other Indians to land of the sunrise across big seawater. He sell them to be slaves. After many snows, Squanto ran away. Good fishermen bring him back home. He learned English in the white man's country." Samoset did not seem in any hurry to leave the village. He walked about looking at the doors and the windows of the cottages. He knew the women and the children were all afraid of him, and he seemed to enjoy their fright. When nighttime came, he was still in the village. Some thought he was a spy sent to find out how strong the settlement was. They were afraid they would make him angry by sending him away. "What shall we do with him?" they asked as bedtime drew near. "I believe he is a friendly Indian. He may stay in my house tonight," said Master Hopkins. So Mistress Hopkins made a bed for him on a cot in the kitchen. But Samoset would not sleep on the cot. He spread a deer skin on the floor and slept before the fireplace. His dark skin glistened in the firelight as he slept. But Master Hopkins did not sleep. All night long he lay and watched the Indian on his hearth. He dared not close his eyes for fear he would wake up to find his family killed or his house in flames. Very few of the Pilgrims slept well that night. If they heard an owl hoot or a wolf howl in the forest, they thought it was the yell of Indians come to destroy their town. But the night passed in safety, and in the morning Samoset bade his new friends goodbye. The Pilgrims gave him some beads and an English coat, which pleased him very much. "Come again tomorrow and bring your friends," said William Bradford as he walked with Samoset to the edge of town. "Tell the Indians to bring their furs and we will pay for them. But you must not bring your bows and arrows, knives or hatchets into our settlement." So here is the picture of Samoset. See if I can get you to where you can see. I know the light is very bad here. Do you see him? And that was their first talk with an Indian, and he spoke good English. These are our questions. Are you ready? What did they build on the hill? What did they build on the hill? Who came to visit the Pilgrims? Who came to visit the Pilgrims? How did Samoset learn to speak English? How did Samoset learn to speak English? What had Squanto been? What had Squanto been? Who did Samoset stay with that night? Who did Samoset stay with that night? What did William Bradford say to Samoset when he left? What did William Bradford say to Samoset when he left? This is Grandma Carla with more of the Pilgrim stories, and I love you.